Jones, the most likely. Couldn't take it. Follow-up Roughead. What about that for a manoeuvre? Oh, terrific goal. There's a glimpse into the future for the big man and the Bulldogs.
Well, it's been one of the Bulldogs' shining lights since we debuted in 2010. Please welcome Jordan Roughead. And Geordie, good to have you on tonight. And
good to be here.
I tell you what, there's a lot of Geelong influence down at the Western Bulldogs at the moment, and you're being tutored by one of the greats of the game in Matthew Scarlett. What has he taught you about the game so far?
He's fantastic, Scarlo. It's funny, everyone talks about how quietly spoken and he never says anything in the media, but he's been fantastic for me, and he's certainly a voice around the footy club now, working with all our young defenders. We've got a lot of key defenders coming through, playing some good footy at VFL level, and yeah, he's been a real influence on me. I mean, you can't ask any more than to learn from a six-time All-Australian. So I'm loving the opportunities that he's provided me.
Now, Geordie, as a young kid, I understand you're a Bulldog fan. How did that come about? And it must be great playing at a club that you barracked for as a little kid.
Yeah, I still think that I'm the luckiest Bulldogs supporter in the world. So my old man actually played reserves with the Dogs back in the mid-'70s. So didn't really have a choice as a young fella, but it's pretty surreal running around.
What number he wore?
Who's that, my old man?
Yeah.
I think he was 64, I think.
All the good players get high numbers.
It's just about his phone number on his back. But yeah, no, so I had Simon Minton-Connell on my back as a kid, the number one. Everyone wanted number one on their back. Yep. So it's amazing having run around with guys like Brad Johnson and still running around with the likes of Rob Murphy and Daniel G on Syracuse is fantastic, and it's a real dream come true.
Jordan, look, thanks for coming on the show. It's good to see you, and great to see a Bulldog player on the show. He won't give you too much of a hard time because we'll stick up for you. But one thing I wanted to say, that goal that you kicked, I know you're getting tutored by Scarlett. You can kick a goal. That's a bit of a bow in your string, you know, to be able to, and even in the ruck, you know, you can probably go forward, back in the ruck.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you can do that?
Yeah, I certainly feel like I do. At the moment, I just love being out there, and wherever the team needs me is where I'm more than happy to play.
Where do you like playing?
Naturally, I feel like I'm more of a defender, to be honest. I don't know why, I just feel more comfortable down there, and yeah, it's a difficult place to play at times, given the amount of stress that you're under, but I feel like when in a year or two time, when we're going really well at the Dogs, it'll be a great place to be.
Now, Geordie, we spoke after the game, after your defeat against the Lions. You're pretty flat and pretty demoralised.
Apologies for that.
And it's not always great when you have to face the media when you've lost a game. But we've had your captain Ryan Griffin come out during the week, reinforcing to the supporters. What are the plans, going forward for the club, and to face up again this week?
I think what's really important, what we've got to stress to our supporters, is the fact that we're working as hard as we possibly can to come out and have a win every week. Obviously, footy's a really tough industry and a tough environment, and unfortunately you can't win every game. But as I said, we were at training today. We had another really good session, and as a team and as a group, we feel like we're really close to stringing 4 quality quarters of footy together, and hopefully that'll be the start of a turn in form, and we can get a few wins coming home this season.
Ruffy, g'day mate, how are you?
Good, mate, yourself?
Good, thanks. Listen, all the best so far in your career thus far. You're doing a great job. You're starting to mould yourself into a fantastic footballer, guys, AFL footballer, and keep up the great work.
Thanks, Phil.
There's a young guy down here I know from as a 16-year-old, a guy called Joshy Pruden. He's the sort of kid, Grant. He's inside and outside. He's a fantastic player.
I think he's been injured.
He's been injured, yeah. So.
Yeah, I think he's got a bit of a cult following on Big Footy there, the Church of Pruden. He's a great kid, and like you said, he's a great kid, and he's a fantastic inside and outside player. But unfortunately, he can't string too many games together at the moment. But once he gets over his injuries and gets on the track, I think supporters and players alike have really got something to look forward to. He'll be a really good player for the Dogs in the future.
Last year, roughly, we've seen a slight improvement from the Bulldogs in about the last 5 games last year. This year, we've only won 3 games so far. Why do you think there's been a decline in wins this year? Why do you think perhaps it's been perceived that the Dogs have gone backwards this year? What do you think it might be?
Yeah, I think it's a tough question to answer, but obviously there's, what are there now? There's 18 teams, so there's 10 teams miss out on finals every year. So all 10 of those teams spend the pre-season working really hard to get better, and we were the same. And I think like I said, I don't think we're too far away from stringing some really good footy together. We've shown in patches that we're a really good team and that we can be competitive against some of the good teams. So I think once we get a bit of confidence and belief back amongst the group that we'll really be able to take things forward.
And Geordie, Gilly mentioned it, that you played forward, you've played ruck, but now we see you playing down in the defence. And to me, I spoke to you earlier in the green room, that you look very, very comfortable down there at the moment. How are you enjoying the defence, playing on a key position forward? Yeah,
loving it. Loving the challenge of it. It's something that I've always enjoyed. I started as in the under-13 and a halves as a fullback, so it's been a move back there only recently. But having the likes of Rob Murphy and Dale Morris and guys like that around you certainly makes the job a lot easier. And yeah, I've loved working with those guys. And as I said, we've got some really quality young key tools coming through as well. So it's an exciting prospect for the Bulldogs.
It's funny, John, I said that because he reckons you play your best footy up forward. So, just before, you just mentioned, obviously, you're doing some great work down at the Bulldogs with Brett Goods, obviously coming up with their wrap down at the Reconciliation Action Plan, which a lot of footy clubs are getting onto. How important do you reckon it is, obviously, for every footy club to try and buy into this? Because I know the AFL just recently done theirs, which is great. A few of the footy clubs have sort of taken lead now, and just the importance of it, and just a bit about the whole wrap itself.
Yeah, it's hugely important. I was lucky enough, I'm involved with the AFLPA and went to the launch of the AFLPA's wrap. So that was sort of where my interest came into it, because I knew the Bulldogs didn't have one, and we've had quite a few good Indigenous players come through the Bulldogs. So I think it's really important to show our appreciation of the history and the culture of the Indigenous people of Australia.
Yeah, I think it's really important too, of those RAP programs, that there's consultation with the Aboriginal community. I think that's very important for them to be successful. There's got to be that consultation for any Indigenous program that's run anywhere in this country, whether it be the federal government, local government, state government. Unless there's consultation with Aboriginal people, those programs won't be successful. So hopefully the AFL gets it right, and some of the clubs do.
Yeah, and I mean the Aboriginal culture's played a huge part in Australian football, so obviously they're going to play a huge part in the introduction of the RAP.
Now, getting back to the footy, your coach, Brendan McCartney, says he'll take the blame for the way the side's going at the moment. How do you feel personally when you hear him say that? Yeah,
it's interesting, because I think when Brendan says that, he says that he accepts the blame, but I think what he means is that we all accept the blame as a whole footy club and coaching staff and playing list. So, we certainly accept the responsibility that we're not playing footy as well as we'd like to be. And yeah, as I said, we'll go back to work again tomorrow and do everything we can to come out and get a win on Sunday afternoon.
All right, well, let's have a look at our side, the Western Bulldogs, because they're taking on Collingwood on the weekend. Another big test for you. It's Sunday at the Docklands, Gilly.
Yeah, the Pies were terrific last week. Good to see White, Adam, Broomhead and Kennedy. Goldsack, he was terrific. He's done a knee. Let's hope it's not too bad for the mighty Bulldogs. Boyd, good to see him back there. Austin, Jonesy, he's there as well. Joe Hennison. Howard's been omitted Sunday, Etihad. Bulldogs need to bounce back.
Well, they do, and Gilly, there's been a lot of criticism about the experienced players at the Bulldogs, guys like Cooney and Griffin, and they've carried the Bulldogs for many, many years. But now there's a lot of young kids in the side, and Chris should probably know this, when the Brisbane Lions are starting to go down the ladder after 3 premierships, that you still need those experienced guys to stand up and lead the way. You've got young Wallace and young Libber that are playing good football in patches, but they need that support around them from experienced players.
Oh, for sure, Grant. If you, there's always, you look at GWS, they've got a talented list, and you look at the Suns as well, they've got a very talented list. But, once these guys start playing their better football, your Coonies, your Griffins, your Bob Murphys, if they're in the top 3, you know that the doggy's going to have a fitting crack. So if they can play good football, but then along with that, Grant, they've younger players, their 3rd and their 4th stringer players have got to come along as well for the ride. Can't just rely on those guys all the time.
Brother, you know what's going to happen? Those experienced blokes, there's a few of them going to be born next year. Yep. You know what I reckon? I reckon that's the club, because there's something about McCarthy I like. He gets a lot of criticism thrown at him, right? You've got to remember, he's not a proven coach, he's not a renowned coach. He is a teacher. He is a development coach. It's going to take longer than your normal coach. I just believe that the quicker they get them young ones, and the more they keep playing them, you're just going to have to put up with a bit of sorrow along the way.
You just said it, Gil. You said he's a development coach, not a senior coach. So is it time for him to move aside and let someone else come in?
Well, I take my hat off to the Bulldogs for having the guts to be able to appoint him in that position in the first place. Because at the time, that probably couldn't afford a renowned coach. So, no, it's true, because you've got to consider all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, no, you're
You've got
right,
to
Gil,
consider
you're
it.
right.
So you can't just blame him because...
They tried that with Peter Road quite a few years ago, and that
I
wasn't
know.
successful.
Yeah,
Why
but
would you do it again?
I don't think this is a Peter Road situation to me.
You don't think so?
No, I don't, because I believe McCarthy is more of a teacher than Road.
All right. Well,
I'd
Jordan,
say
I
your
think
best-
when Brendan was appointed, we knew he was the right man for the job, and we still fully believe that he is. And as a playing group, we're really confident that the game style that we're learning to play is one that will stand up late into September. So I think that's something that, despite the frustration and disappointment we've had early this year, it's something that the Bulldogs faithful can look forward to in years to come.
Now, Geordie, you always pick up, as the centre-half back, you pick up some of the biggest and best players in the AFL. Most of the good players play at centre-half forward. This weekend, you've got a huge job. You're playing against Big Clokey, probably. You're going to pick him up. You must have nightmares the night before thinking about picking him up because he's unstoppable, isn't he?
Yeah, when he gets going, he's a pretty hard man to stop. But yeah, like you said, there's some great centre-half forwards, full forwards in the game now, and any of them, if they get the right service and right supply, they're hard to stop. But hopefully our guys down the field, our midfield will have a great day and I won't have too much work.
Ruffy, just give him a clip early. Give him a clip early and he won't go near the ball.
Phil, your selection on this big game?
Well, I reckon I'd like to see the Bulldogs win, but unfortunately Collingwood's chasing the top 4. So Collingwood.
Okay, Aaron.
I'm going with Ruffy. I reckon he'll shut Cloak down. I reckon he'll do it easy and an upset here. I reckon the Bulldogs...
Geordie will wait for you in a second, but Chris, your selection?
Already got said, I just think that Collingwood are just too strong. Sorry, mate.
Kelly.
Yeah, look, I'm going to say what I've written down here. You know what I've written down? I've written down...
It's not too long, it's only an hour.
There's nothing there.
I've written there, suck it up, players. Suck it up, players. Take responsibility. It's not about the coach, it's about the players as well.
Okay, before I make my selection, Jordan,
players are
convince
just
me
there.
why we're going to win.
I know, but...
Well, we're going to win. We're going to get on top in the midfield. We're going to get
You know
it
what I'm
inside
trying to
50,
say.
and Jonesy's going to come back and kick a big bag.
Okay, well, on that note, I'm hoping the Bulldogs. Okay, Gelly, let's go to our next game.